welcome. You're watching One India. I'm your host, Riya. And today we are focusing on a crisis that has affected every resident of Delhi, the dangerous rise in air pollution level. As the AQI climbs to hazardous level, the consequences for public health, the environment, and the quality of life in the capital are becoming increasingly severe. The situation demands urgent action and accountability, but again, many questions remain about who is responsible and what measures can be taken to elevate the crisis. And to talk on same, we are joined by Mr. Akshay, who is the director of Eco Watch, which is an environmental organization dedicated to sustainable development and ecological preservation. Welcome, Akshay. Welcome to One India, and thank you so very much for taking your time out and joining us today on One India.
Thank you so much for having me over.
Akshay, to
Yeah.
start, can you
Mhm.
give us an overview of the Delhi's current air quality situation, how bad it has become, and what are the main contributors to this hazardous AQI level?
Well, see, this is the state of most of the cities in India and even across the world. But since this is, it's being specific to the Delhi and NCR, well, it's all in the news. Everyone knows that the AQI has reached almost very poor category, right? So on a index of 0 to 400, which has to be somewhere between 70, 75, or 80 at the max. It has reached 385. I think it has also gone to 400 in some parts of Delhi, which is extremely threatening. It is. I think people have to stay indoors if at all they have to live healthily, or if they have to even survive, because they cannot be exposed to such air quality, especially not the children, elderly, women. Nobody should be exposed to such air quality, right? So most of the places are somewhere between 200 and 250. I think last 2 days we have seen that the air quality has shot up to almost more than 350, and in some places it has gone to 350, 380, 390. So this is definitely a very grim situation. Not just grim, I think this is a very dangerous situation which we are in. And if you really look at what the causes are, first of all, Delhi has so many vehicles, more than about 1.5 crore, vehicles that are plying on the roads of Delhi. Though with the odd even numbers, that system which has been working, of course, it has been contributing to reducing the emission levels. But there are industries that are spewing out, emissions. A lot of construction activity, huge amount of construction that is taking place, be it for residential infrastructure, whether it is for industrial purposes. Of course, there is a lot of dust even during the construction, and and one more major thing, that is the stubble burning, which is around Delhi. That's Punjab, Haryana, Chandigarh. I think this is also contributing a lot, to the air pollution in Delhi, in and around Delhi, the NCR area. So this has to be addressed immediately. But you cannot. I know. Things cannot happen or change overnight. But it is a continuous and a concentrated effort that we have to see whether it is by the government. We can't always say the government has to do this and do that. It is for even the individuals or the citizens also to stick to certain things, maybe using public transport, basically to reduce your carbon footprint.
Right.
So, yeah, yeah.
Will it
So
not be right to say that, the pollution is in the atmosphere throughout the year, but it becomes more visible as the winter approaches, and it looks like that people of Delhi NCR, but like lives in the gas chambers. If we see it from, you know, the outside, will it be wrong to say that?
no, see the during between October and December, in the winters, you see
Mm-hmm.
that the air is actually heavy.
Mm-hmm.
So even the pollution levels, even though it is almost the same throughout the year, due to the heaviness, even the air is so heavy, during winters, it starts settling down,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that's why you see the smog also. The smog that is blanketing almost entire Delhi today
Right.
is also because the air is heavier, and then it brings down these pollution, the pollutants in the air, which otherwise, if the air is lighter, then it is slightly at a higher altitude. But since in the winters, because of the heaviness in the air, the pollutants are also brought down to a considerable level. And so that is why we feel that you are directly exposed to this.
Mm-hmm.
And when you start breathing, you have difficulty in breathing, you have a lot of respiratory ailments. And especially during winters, you see this. So that's the reason that we feel that suddenly it has gone up. It has been there, but you're not exposed to it directly because it is at a higher altitude. So like you said, yes, during winters we feel that we are in a gas chamber.
Mm-hmm.
So especially smog, which is the
Mm-hmm.
combination of the smoke and the fog during winters. This is not just the visibility, but even breathing becomes so difficult, especially for children and those who already have some kind of respiratory ailments. They find it even more difficult, and they are the first ones to be affected.
Right.
So that's the reason why we see, this kind of a smog or blanket of smog during winters.
Right, right. So, Akshay, in your opinion, who should be held accountable for this ongoing crisis? Because year after year, we are seeing the same situation. Nothing is being done. Is it the responsibility of the government or the industry or the individuals? Like, who can be held responsible for the situation that the Delhi NCR people are right in?
See, in a way, all of us are responsible. We are contributing. Each one of us are, individually or collectively contributing to this, situation. Not just in Delhi, even across the country itself, in some of the major metros, we are seeing the same issues. So you cannot just pinpoint and say the government is responsible, the industries are responsible. We need industries, we need employment, we need economic growth and development also. We need infrastructure, so the government has to carry out, implement these projects. So it is not that you cannot pinpoint or you cannot just blame any one entity. It is because of all of us. For example, if the government is really strict about implementing these rules and regulation, people will also adhere to it. People will stick to these rules and regulations. They will also follow the orders from the government. So there is a latch from the government. But as individuals, if we have to live a healthy life, then we also have to contribute towards it. For example, we need not have so many vehicles flying on the roads. Yes, it takes a little effort for each one of us to use public transport, but then you will have to, in the larger interest of ourselves, our family, our society, our city, we will have to, take these measures. We will have to go that extra mile or take those few additional steps to see that we also take part in reducing the carbon footprint.
Right.
Well, the industries also will have to stick to the emission norms. I mean, there might be sometimes because of the laxity from the government, because uh, they have neglected or they have not taken strict measures to cut down air pollution levels or carbon or
Mm-hmm.
uh, the oxides of sulfur or nitrogen coming from the industries. So if they were very strict, then the industries would have also stuck to it. But at the same time, the industries will also have to maintain some kind of discipline if they also have to contribute towards the positive or constructive development of the society, because if people are not healthy, then who is going to live and buy their products? So the industries also should think about having self-discipline in regulating their emission standards or emission levels. So
Right.
I feel all of us are responsible in our own ways, and we all have to collectively address this problem.
Right. Truly said. Truly said. So, having said that, and just wanted to add one point to what you just said, that we are also responsible for the upcoming generation, like the generation after us. It's not just us living on the planet. Then, of course,
Right.
there's a whole the child, they'll grow, and probably later they will be living in, if the action is not taken today, they'll be living in the worst situation than what we are living in right now. Having said
Definitely.
that, do you think that there are specific policies or regulation that could be used or put in work, can be effective now?
See, it is already there in black and white.
Mhm.
Okay, we have the, like for example, air pollution. There are rules and regulations under the pollution control board, whether it is the state pollution control board or the central pollution control board. They have the air pollution control act is there, the water pollution and prevention of water pollution. Those acts are there. Noise pollution is there. And there are different standards. There are different emission, levels or standards, permissible limits, which we call, like in residential areas. This is the noise level. This is the air quality. This is the water quality. Of course, is same across, because it is drinking water quality. It will remain the same, but still there are rules, regulations, policies which are very clear with the government, especially with the pollution control boards. So these have only to be implemented. They have to be strictly enforced, you know, not just on paper. They will say that yes, we have all these rules and norms or regulations are there, but who is enforcing it and who is actually overseeing whether it is being uh, actually obeyed are
Right,
the people. Yeah, maybe whether it is industries, see, even transport sector, the government itself has a huge fleet of buses,
right,
so they themselves are also responsible. But having said that, the government cannot monitor each and every unit or entity. So they have the pollution control board which has to take care of this. There are other regional offices across the state, across the whether it is in the metros, whether it is in the smaller tier 2, tier 3 cities. So there are different agencies like the regional offices of the pollution control boards. They are responsible in monitoring and maintaining the emission levels or standards as per the permissible limits across different categories, be it residential, industrial, agricultural. So there are rules and regulations, there are laws, there are policies, there are acts, but only thing is it is not being strictly enforced, implemented. So this is where we lack, right? So that's the problem. The rules are there, everything is there. So we just need somebody who can actually be strict and tough so that people will start listening to them. I mean, once these rules and laws are strictly enforced, see, it is just a matter of getting adjusted to these things.
right.
Now we are, yeah, now and then we are also fine. Okay, yes, we are all responsible in the sense that somewhere instead of some 5,000 rupees fine, okay, somebody is letting you go for 500 rupees, okay, you are fine, you are happy with that. So, but the same thing, if there is, if the government agencies also strictly implement this, once you pay that, you will never repeat it again. Once there is a hefty fine that you pay, we will all. So, uh, penalty is one, but it may not solve everything. But I think that is one way. So there are, as and when there are different changes that we are seeing. So there are amendments to the laws and rules also. So those also have to be strictly enforced, is what I feel.
Got it. Uh, this is one question that I want to ask you. Like, when will the seriousness of this matter be taken by the government or by the leaders who are there in the authority? Is it when it becomes a topic for the electoral purpose? Like, is it then when the authorities are going to take major actions on this? Because everything is on paper. They do say that there's such number of investment done, the budget has been allocated, but on the ground reality, there is not too much done. The smog is still there, the AQI is still the same. You are putting a lot of things out there, a lot of campaigns are going, but we are not able to see the result. So according to you, unless and until if this becomes an electoral issue, only then the government is going to react to this.
Well, that is for sure what you said. Only when it becomes an electoral issue, when we have elections, maybe you start talking about it. there you will suddenly see, some campaigns. Suddenly there will be certain things that will be implemented, right? We will see maybe there will be some greening, afforestation campaigns will go on, major afforestation campaigns will go on. Suddenly pollution levels will, start coming down. We will see that the lakes are being cleaned. And so, yes, sometimes I think at least unfortunately in this country, it is becoming an electoral issue. But having said that, see, once the elections are over, then it is again back to square one. So yes, they talk about it, they do something. It is only a stopgap arrangement. They want to win the elections. They want to convince the people. They want to influence the people. Yes, they talk about it, do something. For about 3 to 6 months, they will do something about it. And then once they are elected, they are in power. All this,
Mm.
goes off. So
Right.
they have other things. Their priorities are different. So that is why there should be an independent body, irrespective of the government. They should have, like, for example, the NGT is there, right? They are strictly enforcing certain things. I think it is because of them there are certain issues that are being addressed, not just addressed, but then addressed immediately and on war footing sometimes. So the NGT kind of a body or a committee or a group of people who can always, approach the court directly. They can even go against the government if they have observed, and if they have evidence that the government said this and they have not done this and they have not implemented. They can go against the government and say that you have been responsible. So they have so much powers that they can go even against the government. They can hold the government responsible. So this kind of a body should be there. I think we should have multiple such bodies which will oversee, irrespective of which government comes into power or not. I
Right.
think that is the only way that we will be able to address, these issues. But right now, yes, it is the NGT that is there. So if we can have similar, I mean, NGT for air pollution related issues, NGT for water related issues, biodiversity, agriculture, industrial industries related issues. So if we can break this down and have multiple, bodies which can focus on certain things. Now NGT is looking at, all the environmental issues. Similarly, if there can be multiple bodies which can actually handle, so it takes down the, it actually reduces the burden on just one body, and there are multiple bodies which can, address, and they can function more efficiently.
Right. It's very sad to
Yeah.
say this that things like, of course, it is said that things are being done, but the results we can't see, and there's a lot to be done in order to for us to come out of the severe situation that we are all in. And according to a report, it's said that in the coming days, out of like every three child will have in future a severe lung problem. So how big of this as an is an issue if we look from the medical perspective as well?
Well, see, as of now, I think every uh, fifth or sixth child itself, in some of these major metros. Sometimes it is the fifth child itself. In some seasons, probably it is the sixth child. Sometimes it is the fourth child. So at least 1 out of 6 to 7 children who are born are already facing, respiratory issues. They are born with these ailments, which is very unfortunate. It is really sad that because of, somebody else's mistake, I mean, all of us, yes, are responsible that these children are being born with these ailments. But yes, of course, so they are going to have this throughout their lives. They are going to live with these issues. So our concern here is that, yes, I mean, they are born now. You cannot, undo it. You will have to take care of them. They will have to take care of themselves. Yes, the medical cost is going to be one added cost for that family, for that child, which they will have to consider throughout their lives until they support the child, and then later on when the child, is big enough to take care of himself or herself. So this is not just about the expenses, but it is also about whether these children are able to afford. That is one. The other thing is whether they have access to such kind of good quality, medical help whenever they require. Somebody born in Delhi, Bangalore, Mumbai, okay, they will have immediate access. Even then, if there are children born in some slums, can they afford it? We don't know. Those who are coming from financially, they have issues. I mean, financial problems. So they are economically the underprivileged children. Who are born in such families. What about them? Though they are living in Delhi, Mumbai, even though they have access, but they cannot afford it. So similarly, there are people who are living in remote areas. They don't even have access. They don't even know what exactly has to be done to treat their issues. Or even, for example, even for a temporary relief, they do not have access, and sometimes they cannot afford it. So this, I mean, this is a very complex problem, because until and unless we have cleaner air, until we have better environment for all of us to live in, these problems are going to multiply. It was like 1 in 15 children long back. It was 1 in 15 children were born with respiratory ailments. Now it has come to 1 in 6 or 7. So as you said, maybe every second child which is born will be we will reach that level very soon. I mean, it doesn't have to be decades. Probably in the next 10, 15 years, we will see that every second child or third child is going to be, born with some kind of respiratory ailments. So, I mean, this is a very complex issue. So, I mean, there are multiple issues also which are related to it. So that's what I wanted to let you know.
I'll take actually one last question. What is it
Yeah.
taking? Why is so much of delay in all of in combating this situation? What is one reason? Is it just the negligence, or is just because at times people say there are not much of funds or awareness is not there, like XYZ reason. But again, the same question. What is it taking to the government or the society, the community at large, to take an action on this which can give some results in, say, let's say, in the coming years? Like if we start doing something today, probably that will help us in next year or probably next to next year, but an action has to be taken, right? So what is that
Right.
one cause that our attention is not shifting to a crisis like of this, which is of we can say we are in a epidemic situation, and it's not affecting only one, it's affecting all of us, be it the higher class society or the lower class society, but it is affecting all of us. So what do you have to say on that?
Well, this is, as I said, I mean, to one of your earlier questions, each one of us are responsible here again,
So
right?
each one of us
So,
are
but
negligent towards this, can we say that also?
we are, yes, see, if we are wasting water, if we are using multiple vehicles, if you're not using public transport, right? If you are not actually reducing the kind of waste that you're actually generating. So it is just that we are getting used to our comfort levels, right? We
But
do
at
not
what
want to let
cost?
that go.
But at what
Exactly.
cost to our
Yes.
own health?
So, yes, we don't realize that. We will deal with this medical issue for about a week or 10 days, and then things are again back to square one. So we are so
Ignorant.
bothered. Ignorant is one, and we are too busy, you know, with our daily lives. We are only looking at how are you progressing economically.
Hmm.
Am I earning so much? What is my saving? How much more do I have to earn next year? We are not thinking how better the air quality should be, in the coming years. Rather, we are saying, to this year I saved 5 lakhs, I have to save 5 more lakhs, I have to save 10 lakhs. So the economic growth and development is what is taking a bigger toll. We think
Right.
that by having more and more money that we'll be able to address all the problems.
Hmm.
Impossible. So this is where we are also negligent, we are ignorant, and we are also contributing to the fact that the quality of the overall environment is gradually declining, and we are seeing that every day. Yes, when there is a smog in Delhi, people talk about it, and the media is also talking about it. The governments will talk about it. Once the smog is gone, it's like you don't see it. So
Hmm.
out of sight is out of mind. So
Right.
it's like that. So when everything else is fine, when there is no smoke, then you are back. I mean, even otherwise, you are continuing your life. But at least you are talking about the air quality issues or the air pollution related issues or the smog. So in one way or the other, yes, each one of us are responsible. We are negligent. We are ignorant about it. And we have neglected a lot of things. And yes, there is a lot of awareness. But what is the action taken?
Right.
There are organizations, government, NGOs. There are people who have been working. I'm not saying there is nothing being done at all,
Mhm.
but this is not enough. It is not sufficient. This has to be rather 20, 30 times more what we have been doing now. It has to, or I think even 50 times more, whatever that we have been doing, maybe afforestation, cleaning up the rivers, restoring lakes, trying to restore ecosystems, having better agricultural, productivity, not with chemical or fertilizers, but if we have to address it through organic ways. So these are, I mean, there are all the different types of issues that we are facing. So, but we do have experts. We do have expertise. We have some subject matter experts. There are great minds in this country. We don't even have to go outside, but they are not being utilized to their fullest potential.
Right.
So that's why we need to have a very comprehensive and an independent body, that will start addressing these issues, take action on ground, otherwise penalize them.
Mm.
I
Mm.
think this is the only way, until and unless we pay a hefty
Indians, we
fine.
Indians, I
Yes,
would say we Indians are a bit,
yes, definitely.
unless
All of
there's
us,
danda, we don't listen.
yes,
Unless there's a penalty, we
danda,
don't listen.
yes, danda also will work for some time. After that,
Yeah,
you get used to the danda also.
yeah, that's
When
true. That's true.
Yes, so when you are financially drained, that
Yeah,
is when you start thinking twice.
thinking, yeah,
You know, like for example, yes, if you are wearing a helmet, you are safe, and they don't think that it is for your safety.
safety.
Police
Yeah,
pakadta hai. He is
yes,
going to catch, so that's why wear the helmet.
yes,
So
true.
otherwise, you will pay about 200, 300, 400 rupees fine. Same thing, you would have bought a helmet and started wearing it. Interest of your own health and safety.
Mm.
So this is how, I mean, our the Indian mentality is. Unfortunately, yes, this is how we have been, uh, not been born or brought up that way, but then the attitude
Conditioned
towards,
is the right word,
yes,
I think. We are
exactly,
conditioned in that way.
right. So this, yes, one is to penalize them, whether it's government,
Right.
industries, private sector, whoever it is. Only once you start, they start paying this hefty fine is when I think people will realize, and also sometimes they will not renew their license. Their license are cancelled. So these measures should be strictly implemented or
Right.
enforced. I think
Right.
only then we people will start adhering to such rules and regulations.
It's very funny to say, but yeah, of course, that's the reality. And
Yeah.
I think we have a long, long, long way to go, and we have a lot to do, put in work to actually get out of this situation that we
Yes.
have ourselves brought us in. Because we can't
Exactly.
just put the blame on the government or the society or the authorities, but of course,
Yes. Absolutely
we
not.
are all in it together. Thank you so very much,
Okay.
Akshay, for talking to us on this topic, which is the need of PR, and sharing your valuable insight with us, with our viewers. And it was great chatting with you.
Thank you so much, Riya. Thank you for having me over. And I hope, One India will be able to reach out to a larger, audience, and people will actually start, even if not doing anything, at least start thinking about it and trying to do something about it, at least. Thank you so much.